I am increasingly confused with the sentiment that Jagmeet Singh is an effective politician. He's not. He's a bad orator, he's uncertain of himself, and he's a Marxian radical. Let's hear what he had to say about this new Israel motion.
And a comment from my foreign affairs critic, and then we'll look forward to your questions. Today, we have a very important motion that we're bringing to Parliament. It's an opportunity for members in this House to make a choice. They want to choose peace or not. Our motion lays out concrete steps that Canada can take to work towards peace. Because
absolutely absurd. I'm going to show you here the motion. This is from the NDP's federal page. What does this motion say? The NDP motion calls on the government to demand an immediate ceasefire and the release of all hostages, suspend trade in military goods and technology with Israel, and increase efforts to stop the illegal trade of arms, including to Hamas, ban extremist settlers from Canada, and recognize the state of Palestine as a step towards a two-state solution, among other actions. Jagmeet Singh, acting as though that motion would guarantee peace in Israel and the Middle East, is perhaps one of the most absurd things that has ever been spewed from his mouth, and that is really saying something. That motion, if seriously adopted in the Middle East, wouldn't guarantee peace. It would guarantee annihilation. It would guarantee the exact opposite of peace. It would guarantee the complete and total and final eradication of Israel. What a joke of a motion. We want peace in Israel, have to eradicate Hamas. Anyone else who argues otherwise isn't living in reality. I think those butchers in Hamas can be reasoned with. It's ridiculous.
What we are seeing in Gaza is horrific. The loss of life is heartbreaking, particularly the loss of so many children only makes that pain even deeper. And we're hearing from people who are feeling hopeless. They're seeing all of this horrible tragedy unfold, and they're seeing Canada absent. This is an opportunity for Canada to take a stand, to say that as a nation, we can be a nation that promotes peace and justice at an international stage.
We are not a nation. No, let's be more accurate. Our government is not a government that promotes peace and justice. Look at what they've done to us over the last how many years? Look at what they've done to Canadians over the last how many years? How can this radical actually, honestly, with a straight face, say that this is an opportunity for Canada to promote justice when we have so much injustice here at home, perpetrated by leaders like him? His vision of justice is totally skewed. His vision of justice is one that isn't justice at all. It's precisely the opposite, as a matter of fact. Singh believes in morality, which is directly contrary to truth, true justice, scripture, honesty, and so on.
And so the choice will be in front of the Prime Minister. The choice will be in front of all parliamentarians. Will they support peace today or not? Donc aujourd'hui, on va discuter des enfants. Est-ce qu'ils vont
important day for us to do what we can in Canada to stop the carnage, the bloodshed in Gaza. You know, right now, 13,000 children have lost their lives. Many more are injured. And right now, today, right now, there are children starving to death. It is urgent that the Parliament of Canada do everything possible to bring about a peaceful resolution for Israelis and Palestinians, to recognize the things that we can do, what we can achieve as a parliament. Our motion brings forward 9 articles, 9 things that we can do to help alleviate what's happening in Gaza right now. Thank you.
This is going to be a good test. This vote is going to be a good test to see where the conscience of our leaders lie, to see what their political appetite is, and to see what their understanding of foreign policy is.
Very much.
Richard, can I ask you about Melissa Lensman's speech in the House? She was essentially saying, we're watching you, and those who will vote in favor of this, you know, you will hear from us, you will hear from voters. What do you think of that?
You know, we drafted this motion so that we could bring all parties along. This is in line with international law. This is in line with our obligations under Canadian law. We wrote this piece of legislation so members of Parliament could stand and support it. We certainly hope that all members in the House do. We know that many of the members have already indicated their support for this motion. There is nothing in this motion that does not align with international law. There is nothing in this motion that does not align with Canadian law, and in fact, moves us forward.
Do you see this as a threat? I'm asking if you see this as a threat.
Well,
On your motion, it does not condemn Hamas. It does not call on Hamas to surrender. And it leaves open the possibility that when you're declaring Palestinian statehood, you're envisioning Hamas as the government. You're leaving that open as to the future of Hamas. Why are you not declarative in your stance on Hamas in this statement?
Well, we've been very clear on this, and we'll repeat it very clearly so that everyone knows. We condemn Hamas unequivocally as a terrorist organization. We condemn the attack as a terrorist attack on October 7th. And so we want that to be very clear. We've always maintained that position. And when we're recognizing Palestinian statehood, we're saying that we've always maintained a position of a two-state solution. You can't have a two-state solution without recognizing there's two states. So this is just about moving forward for peace and justice. We will always maintain our position that both Israelis and Palestinians have the right to self-determination and the right to safety and security.
Right. So what a horrible answer. He doesn't actually say why he refuses to condemn Hamas. Hamas, in this article, in this piece of proposed legislation, as a terrorist organization, as the brutal, vicious, violent, evil oppressors that they are. And as for this two-state solution, where did the state of Palestine, or the proposed state of Palestine, come from? Is it older than Israel? No, absolutely not. It comes from an emperor, a Roman emperor, Hadrian. This is from Britannica. And of course, Hadrian hated the Jews. It's just a fact of history, despised them. There's no arguing that, not from either side. He resolved to stamp the Jews and their religion out of existence. He sold all prisoners into slavery. He forbade the teaching of Torah. He renamed the province Syria Palestina and changed Jerusalem's name, and so on and so on. Synagogues were replaced with Roman temples, etc. That, although that is historically not the first mention of the name Palestine, considering, of course, Philistines, for example, existed for thousands of years prior, this is where the state name comes from. When we read that document of Singh's, of the NDP, we aren't stunned, because this is precisely what we expect from a demagogue like him. But we are ashamed to accept the fact this is even a party, a leader, or a proposed political leader in Canada. Can you imagine the devastation if he was elected?